What's going on, guys? I'm here at GenreBlast in Winchester, Virginia, at beautiful Alamo Draft House, and I'm sitting here with the gentleman who brought this movie to life, Mr. Jarrod Pistilli.
Yes. Hello.
And writer-director Michael Mandell. What's going on, man?
Good morning.
So let's talk about this movie, ironically also called The Movie. This movie is quite a wild ride. Can you kind of give us a elevator pitch?
Sure. It's about a creepy director who forces this washed-up actress into starring in his movie with him, which just so happens to be the worst movie of all time. So it's a movie within a movie. It's sort of The Room inside Misery.
That's a great way to put it.
Thank you.
All right. So can you kind of talk about the first time that you read the script and kind of your thoughts as an actor, or the challenges of bringing this character to life?
Yeah, I thought it was a great script and seemed like a very dynamic, interesting role and a lot of fun. So I was excited by the challenge, for sure, because it seemed like the first 40 pages I felt like I had a good grasp on, but then it was a difficult gamut to run. So.
All right. So let's talk about the Room love letter portion of this movie first. This movie, dialogue-wise, it's truly terrible. And I'm kind of curious if you can talk about the challenges of crafting a purposely bad movie surrounded by a really well done film otherwise.
Well, Josh, when you're this stupid, it comes natural. Yeah, I mean, that dialogue is just fun. It's just so dumb. It's like, are you familiar with Windows? Oh, no, not entirely. Oh, well, you can open them and get some fresh H2O. I love H2O. You can't breathe without it. You know, it's just nonsense. So that was the easy part. It's the stuff I want to be taken seriously that is a little more difficult to capture.
This movie really, from a dialogue perspective, really does challenge the medium and the genre of home invasion movies, because I feel like when you typically watch home invasion movies, they're usually beat for beat, almost exactly the same exact way, and they are going to be very brutal and violent, and this movie has a lot of well done comic beats. There's also these really tender character moments. And can you talk about the challenge of crafting a groundbreaking take on the genre?
Sure. I think we're so used to monster movies, or we're so used to bad guys who are monsters, and they're only that one way. And I wanted to write a character who was more complex than that and could rip off a body part and then make you laugh right afterwards. And it's a type of humor where you feel bad for laughing afterwards. So that was what it was all about, and just mixing it up and just doing our own thing, whether people are used to it or not.
And so within this movie, like we have said, there's another movie, and it's called Water Under the Fridge. And it is a love story of a plumber who falls for a client. So
Well, she falls for him.
True facts.
Which is even sadder.
A woman who falls for her plumber while he's over fixing her leaky fridge.
Man, this guy is I love the fact that this just is such an absurd concept. But I'm wondering if you can kind of talk about crafting the voice and kind of the aspect of your character, Gustav, within the movie.
Yeah. Okay. So Gustav was again. Michael and I had tried a variety of different dialects for it, and then I landed on one that was came off as funny and goofy to me, as it fit the dialogue, I think is what happened. It was like, oh, okay, this, how's the weather came in, and I did that, and I kept imagining this, a Jack in the Box is what it reminded me of. The Jack in the Box from the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer cartoon where they go to the island of misfit toys, and then there's that one, which in my mind, he was this Swedish sort of Jack in the Box. And then I went back and rewatched it, I was like, is he? I don't think he was so much, but he was definitely like a weird little Jack in the Box. That was his problem, he was a Jack in the Box that couldn't spring, I think is what it was. So I kept thinking of that, and I thought that was pretty funny. So that's how it really, Gustav came to be.
I could speak to that too. I think it all happened so fast that it's kind of why it works that Jarrod didn't. I mean, as far as I knew, up until the day before shooting, you had a totally different voice and a totally different vibe for the character, and I thought he was coming in as this other thing, and then next thing I know, it's this strange, well, they're all strange, but a different strange. Strange.
To kind of give you guys a glimpse into what this voice kind of sounds like, it's kind of like Tommy Wiseau meets Adam Sandler.
Very flattering.
So I really enjoyed that, and like the ability, it's so strange the way that you guys mix tones in this, because within that bad movie, obviously you're personifying a lot of just terrible dialogue, but it's meant to be like very funny and very loose, as you were saying, and then the camera switches and goes off to back to like the regular life of this film, and it's just this I don't even know how to describe it, like it's just very much a dark horror movie that gets progressively more brutal as it proceeds. And what were some of the challenges of like how did that come to be? Did you write like the water under the fridge portions of the script first, and splice it into this film, or how did kind of the script kind of evolve and bounce back between both portions?
I wrote it, just traditionally in order, as if it was one film. I sort of, I think that's essential in creating something organic that makes sense in the end, even though they're two very opposed worlds. But yeah, the comedy drives the drama for me. I think the character is pretty effed up, and to me, I wanted to make something. I mean, it seems to me like pure evil is not just committing evil, but laughing about it afterwards. Like it's nothing. That to me is really horrible, and that's what this guy is. So it's a type of humor that, Jarrod, not the character. It's just terrible.
Yeah, the last shot, not to spoil anything, but the last shot of this movie sums that statement up perfectly. And I think it definitely haunts you as a viewer to watch something like that.
Yeah, it's heavy, and I wanted the ending to have an effect. This is not it's not a feel-good movie, but I think that's sort of what makes it so special. Is I didn't sugarcoat it. Jarrod didn't sugarcoat it. Bonnie didn't sugarcoat it. It's just I don't know. It's sort of, I don't know how to answer this question without giving something away. So.
Yeah, let's not get into spoiler territory, because the less you guys know, the better it is. And kind of go back to kind of your portion as an actor. This is a very physical role. It's surprisingly physical for you as an actor. When you're Gustav, you have a lot of like energy and kind of almost like Chris Farley like physicality to you. And then once you kind of get into Walter, there's kind of like this like Jack Torrance level to you. Can you kind of talk about some of the challenges of bringing that physicality to the role?
Flattered by the early SNL references here between Sandler and Farley. That's phenomenal. I'll take that all day. Did I take the same? Yeah, but it was physically interesting because I had on a tool belt full of an axe and wrenches and all that stuff, and GoPros on the head and the chest, and then carrying Bonnie around. You know, Bonnie is on a dolly, so I'm pushing her around, and she was on the dolly, you know, the whole time. And I was pushing her around, and it was you know, you want to make sure she's totally safe, and Bonnie's an incredible person and an incredible actress, so she's awesome, and it's really easy for us to hang out and jump in and do the stuff, so that was great. And but yeah, it was more a lot of that. The tool belt had this metal axe on me, and the knives, and all that stuff was on me the whole time. So we wanted it to be, you know, matched in continuity, and then carrying her around. So and then yeah, matching that energy for Gustav was fun. You know, it was all a lot of fun. So that was the key ingredient. It's easy to have energy when, you know, it's like love what you do and you never work a day in your life type of thing. Like we just loved working with Mike, and everybody was fun. It was total.
And we didn't sleep for 2 weeks.
Yeah, we had so much fun. So except for some of the unsavory aspects of the film, of course, it was darker and
Tough to shoot.
and weird to shoot for sure. But the other stuff was a lot of fun. So that kept the energy up. So it was naturally full of energy, and that other stuff was just a lot of fun. It's the difference between that and like working a 12-hour shift in a restaurant or working 14 hours painting a house a day that's really tough physically. This is like you're in one place and you're in front of a camera, so it's a little more easy.
Yeah, that tool belt is like Batman's utility belt. Like throughout the film, like I'm just like, what's coming out of that thing next?
Yeah, I wish I had a little more variety. Actually, I was thinking I had a couple good wrenches, which were cool to work with, and the axe I did break out at one point. But yeah, it was a loaded belt. Batman's tools, cool. Yeah, his kit of torture, I guess. Yeah.
One of the things that this film does really well is it talks about themes of rejection really, really well. Through both of the characters, Bonnie plays a actress that has just been kind of like chewed up and spit out by the Hollywood system, and your character has been rejected in ways that I won't spoil for this, but they are both going into these themes. Can you kind of talk about crafting a rejection mindset?
Well, rejection is, you know, almost exclusively how I've lived my life thus far. So, you know, I know I'm used to it. I think Jarrod is used to it as an actor. I'm sure Bonnie is too, and we all are. And just got to keep that belief alive and just keep trucking and be your own best advocate.
And can you kind of talk about finding the center of rejection for your character and kind of like the mental health aspect of like who he is as an individual?
But yeah, as we talked about this earlier, but in terms of being an actor can be you get a lot of rejection, I suppose, especially when you're younger and you're not as desensitized to it, and you think you put so much weight on everything day to day, and you think everything might help get you a step further or out of a situation you want to get out of. So that can cause a lot of peaks and valleys, which then lead to depression for sure. So I guess that is something that you have to lock horns with on a daily basis, and the more you can minimize that over time by not putting so much emphasis on the importance of what you thought was important and switching your perception to realizing that what's more important is your own life and creating that day to day, I think helps detract all the depressive elements. So then the rejection isn't hurt because it's all state of mind and perception. And I mean, I watch everyone deals with rejection. My brother and his wife deal with rejection from their kids constantly. Yeah. You know, because everyone's dealing with rejection all the time. You know, it's like nothing's ever good enough. So I think I don't know anyone who doesn't deal with some sort of rejection. It's just for some reason with the arts, people think it's so much more importance or emphasis on it. Really, it's just, it's everything. It's everywhere all the time. Everywhere all the time.
And if you guys want to hear a little bit more of our conversational rejection, this is behind the scenes look. This is take 2 of this interview because we had some camera problems with the original one. But you guys make sure that you guys follow us on wherever you guys get your podcast from to get a podcaster's cut of this interview, which also include lots of Arnold Schwarzenegger impressions. Just leave it.
Absolutely. Yes.
That's a taste of what you guys can get.
I see you. Absolutely. Good morning.
Where can people find out more information about the movie and follow you guys' festival run right now?
Yeah, go to Instagram at the movie.
All right. Well, I thank you guys so incredibly much for doing this not once but twice.
You're welcome.
Okay. Well,
Thank you for having us. We appreciate you coming out to the movie and saying that it was a wild ride, because I think it was a nice little wild ride. So thanks for having us here.
it's a wild ride, 100%. And my last question is going to be to you as a writer. This movie doesn't pull any punches. It literally opens up the frame and you just send viewers this like 0 to 60 wild ride for 90 minutes. Was that always kind of the intention?
Absolutely. Yeah, it was, get in, get out. I think Jarrod and I both, sort of have a similar sensibility about it's not so precious. We shot this movie in 11 out of 12 nights in a row. Super simply, we didn't waste any moment thinking about it. We just did it. And the movie, the shoot itself was peaks and valleys, because 1 second it's horrible and the next second it's hilarious, back and forth. So it was a wild ride.
Thank you. Make sure that you guys follow the movie on Instagram and be on the lookout, and you guys see this wild ride for yourself. Michael, thank you guys, and Jarrett, thank you.
Thank you.
Rock on.